What's going on, YouTube? Ryan Alex back from Dopamon again. Today we're continuing on our series previews here in the first round of the 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs. And today, for this episode, we have Colorado and Nashville. Top place in the Central Division, Colorado Avalanche. One of the favorites, if, everyone's saying Colorado is going to be the favorite out of the West. If not Colorado, then Calgary. And Nashville in deep, second wildcard spot, just snuck into the playoffs. All their numbers are down there. And the first thing that I was surprised about is Nashville actually took this season series 3-1 with two extra time efforts here. One in overtime, one in the shootout. Most recently on April 28th, which is really late in the season. I'm sure Colorado was not going at full tilt. The other thing is Colorado has had a lot of injury problems this year, especially with their top guys. Not a lot of them have played over 80 games. Nathan MacKinnon only 65. That's probably the main reason hasn't been as predominant this year. He's generally on top of a lot of scoring races, and he would have been, I think, if he had had a full season. Mikko Rantanen leads the team in points, though, 92. And there's just so much scoring with this team as well. Cale Makar, who didn't crack the top three on his own team at 86 points as a defenseman and 28 goals. We have him nominated for the Norris Trophy. And then they got great middle guys in depth. 61 points for Andrei Burakovsky and Valerian Nichushkin with a 52-point season. And Alex Newhook and all these guys. Logan O'Connor, Nicholas Aube-Kubel. Great defenseman, 57 points for Devon Taves, who they pilfered from the New York Islanders a few years ago, or last season. Can't remember when that happened. But yeah, Nashville is going to be in tough here, Alex.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Norris trophies, on the other side, we have who we believe will win the Norris Trophy, Roman Josi, to lead the Nashville Predators, who their record isn't as good as Colorado, but yeah, the head-to-head, they've done pretty well. They've got a bunch of this primary scoring from their top guys. Matt Duchene having a career year, along with Philip Forsberg, who is basically like the star of this team. Everybody knows the story of him and his contract situation going into the offseason. So he's definitely given himself a good argument for a raise.
Yeah, absolutely, UFA. And I think before this season, this team had never had a 40-goal scorer. And they have two this season. Matt Duchene coming out of nowhere and Philip Forsberg having that good contract year. They got good depth too. Mikael Granlund, Ryan Johansson, Tanner Jeannot, a great rookie, Philip Tomasino. All sorts of great depth. A bad year from Eli Tolvanen, but he could step up come playoff time here. Sens legend Mark Borowiecki, also involved in only 4 points this year, but that's not his job. He had 151 penalty minutes. And I didn't realize Ben Harper was on this team, speaking of Sens legends. Biggest question mark going into this series.
For both teams.
Both teams?
I don't know. I think it's all the eggs in one basket for Colorado. It's you're facing a team that's got some hot goal scorers right now, and I think that if you're ever worried about Darcy Kemper being a goalie that can win you a series against a really tough team like Nashville, or even carry you to the finals, this is it's going to be a huge test for him. And I think that it's at least not as big of a question mark, of course, because on the other side is the bigger one. But I think that you can't. I wouldn't I wouldn't consider be like, no questions in net for Colorado, no concerns. I still think that you need to keep your ears open for eyes open for Kemper just in net. You got to watch that.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get a chance to go for it here. Pavel Francouz is the backup. I don't have him included here because it's gonna be Kemper as a starter. 21 games for Francouz and a .916 save percentage as a backup's pretty good. But Kemper having kind of an under the radar season for a goalie. He's not getting a lot of Vezina talk, but he has a .921 in a year that scoring is way up. But the biggest goalie question mark we alluded to is Juuse Saros in net for Nashville. Will not start, I don't think, in game one. He did 2 games?
Yeah, he's gonna miss the first 2 games.
All right. So yeah, we'll see if he does end up coming back
And
later in this
what I
series.
read
Was
from
that the most recent report? I didn't hear that, but if you did, then I'll believe you. But the problem is they don't have a 9-16 backup with Francouz. They have big saved David Riddick with his 886 in 17 games on a Nashville team. He has more losses this year, including overtime, than he has wins. And the other option for Nashville is a completely unproven Connor Ingram, 25 years old, former Tampa Bay Lightning draft pick, has a 915 in 54 games in the AHL this year. But this is the NHL playoffs, so it wouldn't be the first time that a rookie has come in and done the job. Those will be the two starters for Nashville, at least on game one. If Saros is not ready to go in the first round, I would be really quick to pull either of them. If I was the coach, I would have David Rittich start. If he doesn't have it, then I'm putting in Ingram. I don't care if he's unproven. Prove yourself now. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting for Nashville, who would have, I think, had a shot to win at least a couple of games, give Colorado a little bit of problems here, but without their top goalie, I don't know, dude. I don't know if Nashville has a chance here.
You know, I don't think that Riddick's a guy that you could rely on for 4 rounds, but he is a guy that I like as a backup to if your starter's injured, he's a guy that can maybe steal 4 or 5 games and stand on his head, you know, if you're going, kind of fill in that kind of role, and maybe he could be the key rather than, the question mark. To solve, to getting Nashville to the second round, because they are going to, face a huge challenge. Of course, both teams are incredible offensively. They got some pretty good scores, but yeah, David Riddick's got a lot ahead of him. But I've seen, in the past, he's shown that at times he can turn it on, and that may be it. And then goaltending is always, the big part of a playoff series, and I think that there's more in him than he's shown this year for sure, and this is his chance to show it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Last thing I wanted to point out is special teams. Colorado, 7th in the league in power play, 24.7%, with going up against a penalty kill in Nashville that is not top half of the league at 18th, 79. That could be a really big problem if we're recording this after or during day one of the playoffs, and it seems like the refs are calling penalties. So they're going to get their opportunities on the power play. And if you give Colorado too many chances, this team will kill you. And if Nashville's PK isn't up to the challenge, this might be a really quick series. Before we get out of here, Alex, predictions. What's happening?
I predict that this is going to be a really high scoring series. That I think that it can be a really open game, nitty gritty stuff, and that Nashville is going to try and get under the skin of Colorado a little bit. And through that, I feel like the longer the series goes, the better it goes for Nashville. That Colorado wants to get this quick done, 4 game, 5 game, just be done. And the more that Nashville can kind of wear on Colorado, I feel like maybe they could, pull out a 6 or 7, game win. But I think personally that that's less likely. I'm gonna go Colorado in 5.
I think I'm going to take Daryl Sutter's approach. He had said it in a kind of a famous soundbite this year that whoever plays Colorado in the first round is going to be a waste of 5 days or what do you say, 7 days? Waste of 8 days. It's going to be Colorado in 4. They're going to be too much for the Nashville Predators, who do not have their number one goalie, may not for the whole series, and if they do, I still think Colorado is going to be too much. Playoff Nathan MacKinnon is an absolute monster, and I don't think they have anybody on this team that can handle that. We'll see if.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. I just kind of forgot that if the longer the series goes, the higher the chance of their number one goalie coming back. And then who even that could that could change the series. I completely forgot.
Yeah, if Nashville can come out of Colorado in the first 2 games with a win, that's huge. If not, they're going to have to wait to hopefully come back with a couple of big solid performances if UC Saros is healthy in Game 3. But let us know what you think. Let us know in the comment section down below who you have in this series and how many games. Who's a big X factor? Will Nazem Kadri be suspended? That's a big question too. We didn't touch that. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel for more dope hockey content. We got lots of playoff stuff coming soon, draft stuff, international hockey, all sorts of fun hockey stuff. If you enjoy this kind of channel, come hang out, talk some hockey with us. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.